You're listening to The Roots, a podcast from Minnesota AMA District 23 ARMCA. I'm your host, Jackie Reese. Let's dive deeper into what makes our district so great. Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 1 of The Roots. I'm your host, Jackie Reese, and I'm joined today by a woman who has dabbled in all sorts of off-road motorcycle riding and racing, and who has been a proud member of Minnesota District 23 ARMCA, Miranda Tweeton. Miranda, how's it going tonight?
It's good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for joining me for episode number 1 of The Roots. I just want to get into how your journey has been in Minnesota District 23 racing. So take us from the beginning. When did you start riding and racing here?
I start riding in 2006, I think, and I started with moto with my dad and my brother because they were both more into that. And then my brother started veering out of it, and I didn't really like racing moto because I was not good at it at all. So we started going to hare scrambles, the Monticello one, because it was 2 minutes from my house. So we did all that, and then I was not doing good at those either. So once I got a 105, we started hitting the full series because I was getting better. And then we kind of went from there, and I got second in the girls class. And then we kind of moved up from there. I won 1 year and then moved up to women's. Took a few years to win a championship there. And then we moved up to 200C, and I didn't do a full series there or season there. And then I won a race, and then I decided to go to 200B. So that's where I'm at right now.
So what do you feel like helped you progress through the ranks? Like just seat time or anything specifically?
To me, it's more of having the background of both moto and hare scrambles. I think that has helped because I get compliments of cornering and moto, and then I get compliments for having the form for hare scrambles. I kind of think it's dabbling with both, and then fitness is the other big one.
So we were talking a little earlier, and you mentioned that you do CrossFit. What all goes into your fitness program for riding and racing?
We have classes Monday through Saturday. I go 4 to 5 times a week. They pick the workout, and we kind of follow along with it, and they try to push you to your heavy weights and get you set up for that, but it's not a specific work program. They just have the workouts ready for you when you get there.
Cool. So that's
it's about an hour.
Nice. That's your main focus for off the bike training?
Yep.
Nice.
It's what I have time for.
Yeah, right. It can be hard to dedicate more time to, being a full-time racer and doing all the off the bike stuff. So you mentioned that you started in motocross. At one point you won a women's motocross championship. What makes you want to keep doing both of those disciplines of racing?
I think it's the competition. It's 100% different. The women in hare scrambles are completely different than the women in moto. I kind of like having experience with both so that I can say that I do. So if I ever need both, then I have both. Mm-hmm. 'Cause I feel like for how fast national races are, you need to have the moto speed that all those girls have. I don't personally like motos because you have to sit around all day, but yeah. It's fun to have both and dabble.
Right. So you progressed through the ranks here. Now you're in 200B. At what point did you decide to move to the national circuit and start racing GNCCs?
I had a job right out of high school that wouldn't really allow me to take the time off for GNCCs, but it's always been a goal since I was in high school. I've always dreamed of doing the whole series, but it was money and school and not having the time. Once I got a new job about a year and a half ago, I was able to afford stuff on my own and be able to get there and pay for gas and races and all that stuff. Dad just does the bike work and all that. And I think having a job that allows me to do PTO and have the time off to go. We take Fridays and Mondays off. We leave Thursday when I'm off of work, or sometimes Friday when I'm off of work, and drive all night, there all night back and then go back to work on Monday. So some days I don't have to take the time off, but for the further ones, I think it's really just having the PTO to be able to go to them. That's
Nice.
the main thing that held me back on the past few years.
Right. Yeah, I can totally relate to that. It's living the privateer lifestyle is definitely hardcore dedication. But how has it been going for you so far this year? We talked a little bit about how long of a winter it had been for you. Take us through your first couple races at GNCC.
I had to miss the first round because that was when all of the snow flurries and all that was going on. So it would be way too difficult to get down there. So I missed the first round, but that'll be throwaway. And then the second round was in Florida last weekend. I got 9th out of 22, which is not what I wanted, but that's probably the toughest track that I've done. So, I mean, 22 women, that's the most I've ever raced with. So, I think it was the endurance mainly too that kind of held me back. But then Georgia was last week and I got 7th. I rode way better, way more consistent. I just pooped out at the end. So that kind of spoiled, but I think the next few rounds are going to go pretty good after getting some seat time in and having closer races than having to go to just GNCCs.
Right. So what are you changing in the meantime to help prepare for those next couple races?
I'm going to the gym way more often than I was. I'm going to start running outside and on top of CrossFit. And then I kind of want to get back into my macros and tracking my food and what I'm eating and all that stuff, and hoping that that'll kind of help. And I'm going to Illinois this weekend to do a hair scramble down there. So hopefully that'll kind of get me some more seat time that the other girls already have.
Right. So how long are the races down there? I know our local races are either an hour or 2 hours, I believe, but how long are a GNCC?
Yeah, the amateur GNCCs are 2 hours and then the pros are 3. So we do the 2 hours. It's usually 4 or 5 laps, maybe. It depends, but the mile, it's usually 14 miles, 10 to 14 miles, depending on the track.
Nice. And
So
and you mentioned you do these races with your dad.
I do the locals with my dad. He works nights, so he wouldn't be, his schedule doesn't match up with theirs. So we wouldn't be able to do it. So my mom has been going with me to all of them and getting me home when I have to sleep. And yeah, she's been big help.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's pretty unique to see a mother-daughter team going racing. Most of the time it's father-son, father-daughter. Are there any other moms at those races with you?
There is, but they usually are with their husband. So they have like a whole family type of thing. We get very weird looks when we're like getting gas or something on the way there at a restaurant and my bike's in the back and it's just 2 girls that get out. It's cool, but I think it's a little bit interesting for people to look at.
Yeah, I get the same looks. I just bought that box fan, and so the same thing. People are like, "What? Just a girl by herself in this box fan?" So I totally get it. Like,
I don't think they expect it.
No, not at all. And it is kind of weird to get those looks, but I also feel like it might be kind of empowering to show those people that, we can do that too. And it's just a very unique experience.
I love it.
Yeah, I know. I love it too.
It's fun.
So do you feel like your racing motocross and off-road in District 23 prepared you to race these GNCCs, and how and why do you think that kind of helped you progress up to the national level?
I don't think that the hair scrambles locally are anything like GNCC, so I wouldn't say that they prepared me by any means. I think what prepared me was, or what helped is how tight our tracks are. GNCCs are open tracks, so the moto helps with that for the speed, but they rarely have technical stuff at GNCC. So when they do, everyone's so used to doing like the fast speed, whereas at our races, it's all tight and technical. They don't really have that out there, but we don't have the same dirt or rocks or anything like what they have. So it's completely different. It took me a while to get used to, and I'm still in debating whether or not it's actually enjoyable.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So what is your favorite part about racing the GNCCs then?
I actually like the people a lot. They are like everyone is so nice to you, and the women actually talk to you. Like it's not all competition. It's nothing like that. It's like you can be friends with everyone. It's not like, oh, you're my competition, I can't talk to you type of thing.
Right.
But I don't know, it's just more laid back, I guess, because it's, I don't know, different.
Yeah, more laid back than a race here, or in comparison to what?
Oh no, from here.
Okay. Really? So
Yeah.
it's more intense here.
Well, it's more intense for me there, but it's more laid back mentally to be able to know that you can be friends with everyone and not have to worry about if people aren't going to be friends with you just because you're their competition type of thing.
Right, right. Yeah, it's I feel like a lot of people, men and women, have that, same difficulty of trying to balance on the track and off the track. And I'm glad to hear that it's panning out for you,
Well, and a lot of the women there train together, so it's not like they're trying to hide what they do type of thing or anything like that.
They all know.
Yeah.
So what is the biggest challenge that you faced in your entire racing career? Motocross, off-road, this new endeavor in GNCC. What is your biggest challenge so far?
Honestly, probably mentally going into the races. It's hard knowing that like the first Florida race, it's like I had high confidence from how my season ended last year. But then you go into it and it's like everyone has been in Florida, South Carolina, everywhere down south, and they've all just been training constantly. So you see the videos on Instagram, Facebook, and you're like, oh my God, like I haven't rode at all. So that's kind of difficult mentally. I think that's like my biggest issue right now. It's hard to take in that everyone's sitting there riding and you're just kind of, you can't do anything because there's snow on the ground.
Right. You're stuck.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing too for you to see how much you progress in so quickly. Each ride you're getting better and better. And I don't know if the change is that dramatic for the other girls that you're racing with, but I think that that's something that you should be proud of, that you've overcome and learned how to deal with, and know that that's your weakness too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. It takes me a little longer to get into the races like they are, but I think it all pans out in the end.
Yeah, for sure. So piggybacking off that, what's been your greatest accomplishment? What are you most proud of during your entire career?
Well, last year for GNCCs, my goal was to get, I think the first race, my goal was to get top 5, and I ended up getting 4th. So the whole year, I kind of set the goal high as top 5 because that was high for me back then. And I ended up not missing that top 5. I got in top 5 every single race, regardless of anything that happened, except for the one that my bike broke, but that's another story. I got top 5 every race. So that was a huge accomplishment because I had races where my bike didn't start on the line. I had to sit there and push start it. And I had migraines that I was dealing with. So that didn't help. And I think that was my biggest accomplishment because I ended up 4th for the year. And I even missed 2 races. So
nice.
I think that was the best thing so far.
Yeah. So you kind of chuckled when you said your bike broke. Do you want to tell us that story?
Funny story. So GNCC for lappers is very difficult to get around. So you're kind of battling with them all day, regardless of what place you're in. So actually Stephen Mayer, our local guy, he was in front of me and I was going by him, and he's not hard to pass or anything, but I was going by him and I was yelling at him so he knew that I was there. And I thought that I was clear of the tree, but I nicked it with my whole body.
Oh my God.
And then I crashed, and my I don't even know what to call it. What holds my bar mount on broke. It snapped. So like I think it was my clutch mount. So my whole clutch mount snapped and nothing was working. Like my whole thing was like this. And I finished that lap, and then I stopped by my dad, and he was looking at it and can't finish like that. They were going to try to duct tape it, but by that point it would have been useless.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So my bike didn't really break. That was kind of a personal error, but it still broke.
Still broken, still unrideable. Yeah, I've done one hair scramble in my life, so props to you. I like you were saying, is this even fun? That's where I'm at. I'm like, is this even fun?
It's like it's
Yeah.
a blast, and then you get to the last like 20-25 minutes, you're like, this sucks.
Yeah, so I get it. Like it gets tight and you got to be cognizant, I guess, of those trees that come out and get you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So just to round out this whole podcast, it's still Women's Month, International Women's Month, still Women's Month. I want to know if you have any advice for people that want to get into motocross, off-road racing, and specifically to women who might be a little timid to get into the sport.
Honestly, just go for it. Everyone is amazing to deal with. Everyone helps you, supports you, pushes you on and off the track. The people are amazing that you're surrounded by. Doesn't matter what place you get, you will still get congratulated and props to you and everything. So you got to just go for it. You got to get over the fear and go for it.
Yeah, right on. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in to episode 1 of The Roots. I'm Jackie Reese. Thank you, Miranda, for your time. And we will see everybody on episode number 2.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Catch us every other Monday wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on our YouTube page.